Hey, how you doing? Uh, uh, it's me, Daniel. And I had a catastrophic stroke last year, and uh, I'm just done. So I found out what the prize is for winning the high score on Rite Aid blood pressure robot. And I didn't get my prize for a couple of weeks, but I had an incident. I was going down the freeway, and my left side locked up. And by the time I went to pull off the freeway, it let go. So I was leaving my day job and heading for my night job, delivering pizza for Pagliacci, and uh, I delivered. I stopped at Rite Aid on the way and and checked my blood pressure, and I've never seen a robot come so close to crying. Uh, it, I know now what the numbers. I knew what they meant, but I didn't know where I was on the scale. But my blood pressure was 236 over 131, and the Rite Aid robot begged me to just stop what I was doing and call 911 immediately. However, not knowing just how bad it was, even though there was a robot begging me, I I went to deliver pizza that night and did my job at Pagliacci. Uh, uh, and A couple weeks later or whatever, I got the prize for that accomplishment. In that I woke up on the floor after having a absolutely catastrophic stroke. Luckily, very luckily, I was on the phone at the time with Mary, my shift manager at Ballinger Pagliacci, and uh, I just heard this voice on the phone assuring me that everything was going to be okay, that 911 was on the way, but I'd pissed myself. So, as bad a shape as I was in, I crawled into the bathroom and changed my pants. And then I thought, shit, if I die, they're going to prosecute me for tampering with evidence. So I crawled back into the bedroom and put myself in the exact position I'd woken up in. And then I thought, shit, your brain is clearly damaged because I realized how ridiculous that was. Uh, so long story short, so first I want to say my thank yous to, and these are uh, these are my thank yous are in not in chronological order. Uh, Necessarily, but I'm gonna up front. I'm gonna thank everyone, and then I'll get into my current situation. So, first is a shout out to Mary at Pagliacci Pizza and the whole crew there at Ballinger Pog. They saved my life. Okay, uh, I'm sorry. The first few times I did this, I cried at that point, and I'm okay. Mary at Pagliacci Pizza saved my life. The company has treated me absolutely fantastic during this whole thing. Uh, and So shout out to that whole team. Uh, 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 the medic one folks, the robot doctor, all the human doctors, all the nurses, all the support staff, everybody at the hospital by Northgate, uh, 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 and anybody I've forgotten, like for those first weeks. So I was unconscious for 5 days, and then spent the next 3 weeks in the ICU. So anybody that I had contact with there that I I I forgot, you understand. But you have my sincere apologies because you guys were all wonderful. Uh, so uh, so I'm getting better. It took me 2 hours. I lost all movement in my right side, and when I got home uh, to the townhouse I rent from Emily Tongley, who I used to work with at the Disney company, who was who was a great friend and also for me was a very understanding landlord. I during the later months while I waited for my disability to come in, she was just very accommodating to me, and I want to thank her for that. Uh, So everybody at the hospital was wonderful, and my last special call out until I remember who I forgot is Sam Lane. uh, was there from day one, and he was there on days where I was fully unconscious, and he visited. And then after I got out, he came over at least twice a week and for months and took care of me. Uh, and uh, he contributed more than anything else, uh, anyone else to uh, my recovery. I also want to shout out to the people at Ballinger Chevron. This is this is the Chevron on the corner of 15th and Ballinger, the Getaway Tavern, and Amazon Prime food delivery saved my life. I couldn't walk for weeks. I couldn't walk without a walker for months, and I was in a townhouse. So, and lastly, Soup Soup, the Bengal that was owned by my for Alfred, my roommate, who's Emily's brother, but and I didn't want him to know how bad off I was. I did my best to hide it from him. He clearly knew, but he was gracious enough to not let on that he knew how bad a shape I was in. But my big fear was dying on him. Uh, so so I hid it for months, and I would go down to the kitchen and gather a bag of groceries, and then go, pull myself up the stairs and move in the bag one step at a time. And he didn't see me once for months. uh and he yeah. So, and lastly, Soup, uh who was his Bengal kitty, or is his Bengal kitty, and was my lead four-legged therapist. Oh, and God, my actual uh, speech therapist, whose name escapes me, and I totally regret not looking it up. She was the kindest woman, and she came over to the house. I'll put it in the notes for this. Uh, 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 Soup. He was so sympathetic. He wasn't a particularly cuddly kitty, uh, but he was a sympathetic kitty, and uh, he got me through a lot. Although, a slightly more affectionate cat would have been a good thing. But I'm sure he's going to put in a good word for me with the cat distribution system. So, yeah. Uh, so I've damaged my brain. There are many funny aspects to this. My memory is completely flat. I'm as likely to remember the names of everybody I went to third grade with as what I had for lunch yesterday. But it's sifting itself out. So I'm 14 months out. I'm doing pretty well. I'm finally walking without a cane. But I'm heading to Costa Rica, and yeah. So I need money, and there's no better way to say that. And I can't remember where I am in this speech, but it seems like it's gone on long enough that I've made my case. Uh, um, so. If you can give. If you can't, I totally understand. If you read, if you read my GoFundMe details, I believe me, I understand. I got down to eating blackberries and plums, growing here in Ballard, at some point while working. Yeah, it was yeah. So if you can't give anything at all, I understand. If you can only give a little bit, I understand. If you can give a substantial amount, I not only understand, but I certainly appreciate it. If you're a company, I appreciate it too. I've saved. I don't know how I did it anymore, but my understanding is I saved a lot of companies a lot of money, back when I could had the logic skills to do that sort of stuff. So have a look, and I want to thank you for your time. And if there's anybody I left out, sorry. My brain shot. So, um, and this is all the notes I did this with. So, uh, Uh, so, just to recap, uh, yeah, no recap. Please take a look. Thank you.